Well, I just happen to have some Islamophobic gum right here, and I understand our next guest does too. Dean Obeidallah is a comedian and commentator, political commentator, who hosts his own show on Sirius XM satellite radio. He's also a contributor to the Daily Beast. Spreads love, take two, and call a Muslim in the morning. Oh, that it were this easy as a cure-all, Dean. Islamophobia, of course, is a spoof medication designed to push back against what CARE sees as the increasing incidences of anti-Muslim bigotry. There is a serious side to this, isn't there? Just how bad are things in the States at this point?
First of all, can we send a case of this to Donald Trump? Is that possible? Can CNN help us do that?
You can have mine to begin with, definitely. Well, I'll send mine, you send yours, right?
Well, so at least we can start there. I mean, he needs an intravenous drip of Islamophobia in Donald Trump. Right now, honestly, for Muslim Americans, I think it's never been a more trying time, even worse than right after 9/11. And I mean that in the language we hear from politicians. We've never heard this before. Someone saying, a leading politician saying, let's ban 1 billion Muslims because of their faith. And we had Ben Carson, another Republican, saying during the campaign, a Muslim should not serve as our president. And Ted Cruz, another Republican, saying we have to surveil Muslim neighborhoods. And the list went on actually before that as well. So it's a challenging time. There was a spike in hate crimes after the San Bernardino despicable shootings here in America, and after the Paris attacks in America. We saw a backlash here. So angry rhetoric accompanied by some really horrible attacks on Muslims, from women with hijabs getting hit to bullying in school. I just wrote about it for Daily Beast. Huge spike in bullying. Very, very challenging times. We're still resilient. The history of this country says we are going to progress beyond this. We will move, just like anti-Semitism was marginalized, thankfully, and racism was mostly marginalized. It'll still always be with us, but we can marginalize it to the fringes.
This packet, Islamophobic gum, also lists a bunch of side effects. I mean, they've done a really good job with this satirical stuff, haven't they? Including that the consumer will lose bigotry, and it says there is a chance of being affected with a rational mind, it says, which will help you to see individuals for what they actually are. It also states that you should call the doctor if the Islamophobia worsens or if the disease of Islamophobia recurs. I mean, it is all serious stuff. Let's get really frank here. Is Donald Trump to blame for this?
I don't think alone. I don't think Donald Trump is the cause of anti-Muslim bigotry in this country. We had it before this. And let's be really honest, Al-Qaeda and ISIS have been the prime factors in getting people to be afraid of Muslims. The despicable part is American politicians playing on that. Instead of unifying Americans and saying it's all of us against ISIS, they've tried to divide us. And the result is we've seen a human result of the spike in hate crimes and bullying. There's actually a response by the words of politicians to human life. It's been documented for years, not just with us, but with racism in the 60s and 1960s, and politicians saying horrible stuff about the African-American community, and there were bombings of churches down in the South End and attacks on African-Americans. So that's the hard part. The challenging part are politicians. We have to push back against it. We have some Democrats standing up for us. Thankfully, President Obama today issued a Ramadan wish. Today's the first day of Ramadan, Ramadan Kareem, to any of my fellow Muslims watching. And a great wish today from President Obama, and he took a swipe at Donald Trump again, saying, stop dividing people by faith. That's anti-American. That's not what this country stands for, not what it should be about.
Is this going to get worse, do you think, before it gets better? I'm thinking about the next 6 months, which is a significant, well, there will be a significant ratcheting up, won't there, of campaign rhetoric. Are you concerned this could get worse?
I am very much so. I mean, one thing is we cannot control or predict what terrorists might do. Second, we've seen Republican politicians, not just Donald Trump, other ones on state and federal levels, who have used demonization of Muslims to help their campaigns. So between now and November, we very well can see Donald Trump do something more to demonize Muslims. The idea of just yesterday, a Muslim judge would be unfair to him. This is outrageous. The idea that a religion or ethnicity would disqualify you from any position in America flies in the face of what this country is supposed to stand for. And the world sees us in a certain way. I think Donald Trump is undermining what our nation, why my father is Palestinian, came to this country, my grandparents from Sicily came to this country, with the promise of this nation. People like Donald Trump undermine that promise.
It's always a pleasure having you on this.